I often get asked the question, why weightlifting? Well, why the hell not? At the end of the day, we all find something in life that we enjoy and that we're good at, or that challenges us. So that really is what happened to me. As a 13-year-old at school, I was given an opportunity, and that's all it was. An opportunity in a PE lesson to have a go at something that I knew nothing about. And I give the message now when I deliver school assemblies or motivational talks to encourage people, and I encourage you watching this, to make the most of every opportunity that comes your way, because that's all it was for me. It was a one-off PE lesson where I had a go. And it was only thanks to that PE teacher, Dave Allen, at the time at Wadebridge School in Cornwall, who said to me, hey, come and do a competition at the weekend. You know, I think you'll be all right. I think you'll get on okay. So I did. I had a go. Now, I remember going home and telling my mum that I was going to go to a weightlifting competition, and she said, no, you're not. And me being a teenager and quite stubborn or pig-headed, narrow-minded, whichever way you want to look at it, I turned around and said, well, yes, I am. And she said, no, you're not. Basically, I think she was busy that weekend and she didn't want me to do it. It wasn't the kind of thing that girls did. So come Saturday morning, off I go on my bike. I cycled the 7 miles to get to the school, and I took part in the competition. Went home with a trophy and then had to explain myself. So that was kind of how it started. And at the time, my parents had separated. I saw my father during school holidays. And he kind of egged me on a little bit and said, well, go on then. I think he was just trying to get to mum, to be honest. Mum said no, and he would do the opposite. Anyway, it was an opportunity for me to get to see my father a little bit more frequently. So we would go away to competitions during school holidays or during term time, and he would often meet me at the competition, so it was a chance to see him as well. Originally, I stuck with the training not to be a weightlifter. Who was a 13-year-old girl, especially back in the 90s, when women's weightlifting just wasn't a thing? Nobody wants to go into the sport and they think that's what they want to do. For me, I stuck with the training to become more powerful for athletics. I was a long jumper, sprinter. They were the events that I enjoyed the most, or that I was best at. And in 1 year of doing weightlifting, I did no athletics training, I must say. And in 1 year of just doing Olympic lifting, I put a metre on my best long jump, and I cleared over 5 metres as a 15-year-old. So not bad numbers. Fairly powerful, and it just shows that you really can develop leg power with Olympic lifting. I had to make a decision when I was about 16 whether I competed in athletics or whether I stuck with the weightlifting, when the 2 national events in the same year happened on the same day, and I had to make a decision. And I knew then that weightlifting was going to help me achieve my goals and get me the furthest that I could in the sport. I wanted desperately to go to an Olympic Games. And back then, weightlifting wasn't even an Olympic sport. But either way, I had a passion to pursue my dreams and to go as far as I could. And weightlifting for me, as a youngster, provided an opportunity to, I guess, write a ticket to travel the world. And I've been very fortunate to compete across the globe in many, many different competitions. So that was my early reasons for starting the sport. I found myself in a sport that was male dominated, that was run by men, that was coached by men, and there were very, very few female role models. There were very few females in official capacity or as coaches. And I just thought, I can do this. I'm not bad at it. And I kept training. And before I realised, I was achieving better results on the international platform than any of our senior men. And that didn't go down too well. And I can tell you right now, there was a lot of jealousy, there was a lot of bitterness. There was even the jealousy and bitterness from the governing body, who really should have been there to support me and have my back. And they didn't. They were very much seeing a female doing well. Didn't like that. So anyway, that was a driving force for me. That was an opportunity for me to really keep going and to see how far I could go. And then when women's weightlifting was introduced to Commonwealth Games and Olympic Games, it really gave me an even bigger focus. I've been fortunate now to compete at 4 Commonwealth Games and medalled at all 4, including gold in Melbourne. And it was things like that gave me other opportunities to do school assemblies, to do awards evenings, to get some kind of endorsements and some support. And at the time, if you rewind best part of 15, 20 years, there was nobody else achieving that. There was nobody else stepping up, particularly in the UK. and making themselves known. So I guess in some ways, it was an opportunity for me to lead the way, to break down these barriers, to break down these stereotypes, the stereotypical images that people associate with female weightlifting. You know, years ago, and I am going to use the term Russian shot putter, because hey, the Russians are doing a lot of what they shouldn't. So there was this stereotype of what a female weightlifter should look like. And I'd like to think I broke down those images to a point where I was told by a national coach, Keith Morgan, who still tells me to this day it was reverse psychology, but he told me as a 14-year-old to quit the sport because I was too tall and I was too skinny. At the end of the day, all I've tried to do is break down the barriers to women taking part in this sport. And just look at it now, we're buzzing, we're thriving. Our sport has never been so buoyant in the UK. Predominantly down to the growth of CrossFit, introducing more people, making it more popular, gaining awareness. But I look back and I pride myself and think that, you know, I played a fairly important role in that in the early days, bringing weightlifting through into the modern era. And it's with great satisfaction that I can now put my lifting shoes aside and enjoy watching some other lifters from Great Britain achieving fantastic results on the international stage. You know, I've been lucky to be a record holder, but hey, records are there to be broken. So watch this space. Let's see how far lifters in the UK can go, but also how far women's sport can go. At the end of the day, the question again is why weightlifting? And I say once again, why not? Why can women not be powerful? Why can we not show the world what we can do? And I'd like to think that women watching this, watching some of my videos, watching results from other female weightlifters across the world, hopefully this is going to inspire a generation. Hopefully in another 10 years' time, we're going to have even more women taking part in what was once upon a time a male-dominated sport. Now we can be treated as equals.